Well, hello everyone. Welcome to today's live stream. And as I already announced, today I will be continuing this dragon. So we started this yesterday, and I was actually doing a streak of easy for beginners watercolor painting. So anyone could just join in, follow along, but I actually do have a goal to create a card for someone that I know. He's getting married, and both he and his fiance are into D&D, so I decided to make a card for them. So that includes dragons, and I have never drawn or painted dragons before, so it's a bit out of my comfort zone, but here we are. We did this yesterday, and today we are going to finish this. So thank you so much for joining in this journey. So I think I am going to start with a few details here that don't have paint yet. And then after that, we can go paint details over the other areas. So because the details are very small, I'm going to grab my small brush. And I am going to start with some really bright yellow. For the eyes. I really want them to pop out. And the horns, I want to do a light color just like the belly. Yesterday I started the belly also with the light yellow. Only then after I painted the yellow, and I need to lift off a bit of the color because it's too bright. So then I dropped in a bit of ochre for that warmer tone. And even a bit of burnt umber for shading. All right, so now the eyes need to dry, and then later on we can put in a pupil. So I am going to start with the details. And I think I'm first going to do some stripes on the inside of the wings. And for that I'm using the dark pink that I used as a light wash to create those. And then just very easy, just drawing in some lines, just a few. And they don't need to touch everything. And as you can see, I also drawn some other stuff around it. That's because I am actually collecting assets that I can digitize and then create an illustration, or at least like a card. And I'm not entirely sure how it's going to look like, but I just really like to get these assets together. I think I'm going to attach these lines, at least a few of those, all the way. And now we're going to do the other side as well. So I'm doing these daily watercolor lives, and the next couple of days will be dragon themed, or at least D&D themed, so that I can finish that card. And then after that we are going back to the easy peasy watercoloring for beginners. And I guess the painting part is something that beginners could follow along as well. It's just that this is a more complex composition to start with. And drawing an illustration or a composition to paint is often one of the things that people find very difficult when they're just beginning. Hello, how are you today? I do like it. If you're watching, I would love to know where you're from and if you're also into painting. So I want to add something to the skin of the dragon, and I'm thinking about how I'm going to do that. That is going to have that nice, like the scales of the dragon. I want it to have a really nice effect, but I don't want to overdo it. Let me start. You know, the face, of course, is a very important part. I see it has some spikes here. I haven't painted these yet. I want to do a bit darker around the eye. Now, as I said, dragons aren't the usual things that I paint, so this is very much out of my comfort zone. Let me try to do stripes like these. I think they can add some really nice texture. And I'm using the same color as the layer beneath, only darker. Also adding some details around the nostrils here. And the mouth. And then I'm going to continue downward with adding these stripes, like putting a scale effect over there. And maybe before I go down, I'm going to add a darker line right here as well. And I'm not tracing the entire purple space, just adding a line next to it so that it can be some shade. And now I'm noticing that I forgot something. Those spikes on the top of the wings. So I need to come back and do that as well. They're going to be the same color as the horns on the head. Doing the other side. So this is why you usually start, well, when you're right-handed, you go from left to right. I mixed up the order, so now I'm struggling a bit where I can place my hand. I don't want to smudge by placing my hand in paint that is wet. So first, because I am already going around with the purple, I'm going to finish these scales first, and then I will do those horns. Now this is a very nice and mindful thing to do. And it's amazing how just a few things can change a painting so fast. It's really starting to look like something right now. And then after this has dried, I think I'm going to use some metallic paint to go over there. I think that could have a really cool effect. But I must admit that I like to put metallic paint on many things. And painting details is one of my favorite parts of painting. Alright, just a few more places to go. Now I'm thinking about how I am going to emphasize like the nails, the claws. If I'm going to give them a different color or I'm just going to make them really dark. Well, I could try with some ochre how it's going to look like. I think this is the most difficult part because it's already on top of a layer of paint, which is almost the same color, but I can't go any lighter. All right, so now let's do those spikes on the wings first before I forget those again. So very light, and I already put too much water down here. I want to be able to drop in some ochre. It's also a bit too bright right now, so I'm lifting off some of the pigment. And now I'm going to drop in a bit of the ochre. And a bit of burnt umber. I think I like to do a bit of a shade, or at least a darker. And what I would also like to do is also here put those horizontal lines. All right, this is becoming a really nice dragon right now. So the next step is to put some lines on the belly, and I'm going to use some burnt umber for that as well. So all this time I'm using a size 1 round brush. I like to use this size for details. So if you're watching, I would love it if you say hi, tell me where are you from. I always love to know where people are watching from. And also please let me know if you're into watercoloring. So usually I do easy watercolor for beginners in my lives. Only right now I need to finish a card really soon for someone I know who's getting married, and they are both into D&D. So I want to make a card, and I really needed to find time somewhere. So I really hope that you're enjoying watching me painting this dragon, and really soon there will be easy watercolor tutorials again. You can actually see me out of my comfort zone right now because I have never painted or drawn a dragon in my life. This actually is the first time. So I do like these stripes on the belly, but I think it could use something I'm going to add a little bit of pink. And I'm thinking, will it be this? Just a little bit. And I don't really have a plan. I just started this, and I do this often. Then I just draw something and I figure out which colors I want to use. Only when I do commissions, then I already have colors figured out. But right now, I'm just winging it a bit. All right. Now I would like to add some really bright pink, and I don't know if you're going to see it. I'd like to add it in the nostrils here, in the nose. Yeah. Maybe add a bit of red in the mouth. I am going to wait with the eyes until tomorrow. I'm really sorry, but you won't be able to see that today. I just really don't want to take a risk that I'm going to use indigo blue for that it's going to mix into the yellow. Then it's completely ruined, and that is not an error that is easily fixed. Alright, so now I am wondering if I want to add some details on those spikes or if I want to do some metallic details on there. Of course, if you've got any suggestions or ideas, you can always put something in the comments. I'm open for everything. Yesterday there was this really nice woman. She was on the chat with me and she actually helped me pick some colors. And I'm very grateful for that because I really love how this is turning out. So I'm talking about these spikes. I feel like it's missing something. So I think I do like to start using some metallic paint later, but I still think it could use like a darker shade somewhere. I think I'm going to use this and then just going to add some stripes along the outer curve. All right, so I think that for now this dragon is done. Of course, we're going to add the eyes later and there's going to be some metallic details. And I also drawn all these other elements, but I'm going to paint those later. I don't know if this will be in this session. I have another dragon ready to paint, so I'm going to put this aside. And then we are going to move on to the second one. So I've drawn this afternoon already, and also with a lot of elements around it so that I can use that later on. So this dragon is from the other side, so it's more from above. And I really hope that they're going to fit together. And I think I'm going to use some bluish colors for this one, maybe with some pink effects as well. So starting this, I'm going to use my kneading eraser and I'm going to lift off all the excess pencil lines. Also from the other elements already. So then I don't have to do that later on. I do this because I don't like to see those gray pencil lines in the end result of my illustration. And I make sure that the lines are still subtly there, so I know where to put my paint. So I'm just pressing it down, lifting it up. And when I do something like this, I like to fill up the entire piece of paper with elements so that there's no paper wasted. Alright, so almost there. We can almost start with the fun part. Yes, alright. Let's see how this dragon is going to turn out. So like yesterday, I'm going to start with the webbing. And I think I'm going to use a light blue for that. And now I need to find myself, let me see. Yeah, this is a size 2 round brush. I think it's actually a bit bigger than, I don't know, it feels a lot bigger than the size 1. Usually I would do a size 6, but I'm already having a lot of smaller areas. So I think this size 2 will do. And now we are going to use this as a coloring sheet, just painting it in, staying within those lines. And I'm going to start at the upper left piece that I need to paint in. I'm just trying to stay within those lines with a light wash, not too light, but also not too dark. So later I can still drop in some more pigment for some shading. And I do that right away when the paint is still wet. I do that around the sides. And because the paint is still wet, I'm going to add a bit more water here. It is going to blend in nicely. I am not going to add in pink, I'm going to add in purple. So I'm going to drop a bit of purple in here as well. Very gently. So now I'm going to move on to the second one using the light wash again. Trying to stay within those lines. And now adding a bit more pigment along the sides. Somehow there's a lot of water here, so I'm lifting some up. And let me drop in some purple as well. All right, let that dry and blend in as well. In the other order, of course. And moving on to the third area. Hey Sheree, so glad you're here. How are you today? So dropping in some more pigment. Yeah, I started the live a little bit later than I wanted to because I was really tired, but I really wanted to do the live. So, oh, let me show you. So I just nearly finished the one I started yesterday. And so this is the first ever dragon that I painted. It was a bit out of my comfort zone, but I'm really, really happy with it. And I want the yellow in the eyes to dry overnight, and then I can add the, the stripe in there with indigo. And then I'm going to add some metallic, maybe later in this session. Yeah, I'm really loving it so much. So I hope that this one is going to turn out as beautiful as well. I think this has the possibility to become a really beautiful card. I'm really getting excited about this. Oh, great. Yeah. Oh, definitely I'm going to make stickers out of these. So I went to the shop where I sell my stuff today to do a refill, and we've been talking about some things, and I'm going to put an entire, how do you say it, like shelf, an entire shelf filled with stickers. They really love that idea. And then I get another place where I can put my art prints, and then I've got another shelf completely filled with my mugs. So I'm going to do a refill there in 2 weeks. Yeah, really excited about it. So I think this needs to be there as a sticker as well. And I need to make some more stationery with these dragons. Of course, I'm trying to do a little bit of a D&D theme for the card, but it's like a fantasy theme, and I do like that. All right. So this dragon is going to be blue with purple effects. Well, I think it's going to be more turquoise actually. I'm using a very light turquoise, and I was planning to do a darker one for the other areas. So now I'm going to move on to the webbing of the other wing. Yeah, I did yesterday, and it didn't really work, because if you're watching, then you would see, like for you, the text would be different. The only thing I haven't tried yet, I saw there's an option to stream as if you're a gamer, and then you can put horizontal, but I don't know what the effect is going to be. And I can also try TikTok Studio, but that's on my computer and I don't have that near me. So still some stuff to try out, but for this, it's better to have it vertically. Yeah, we will. I think studio may help. I really do think that that's going to help. And I was actually thinking that maybe this weekend or in the beginning of next week, I can do a live while I'm cleaning this up in Photoshop. And then I can use Studio and then I can see how that is going to look like. Maybe if I can do horizontal then. So that's something I'm going to experiment with. And I'm not sure how interesting it is to watch me cleaning things up, but hey. I like to take you with me on my creation process. Yeah, I do think so too. It's just like with this, it's a lot of repetition. But it is really nice to see the end result becoming better and better. I do love blending watercolors like this so much. All the rough edges and blooms. So right now I am creating all the assets that I need to design the card. I work like that often when I want to create something. I usually start with painting a lot of the elements, especially also with animals. If I paint frogs for the first time or the capybaras, I painted a lot of the elements first to try out, and then later on I can start with some full page illustrations. And for now with the card, I have no idea how I want it to look like, so I like to create the elements and then play around in Photoshop and see how it's going to turn out. So I think it will be the next couple of days I will be in this theme, and then starting next week again there will be beginning watercolor tutorial videos again in the live stream so that anyone can join in. And I think the painting part, it's the same. It is also for beginners. You could follow along, but I'm not doing the simple sketching composition part right now. So I noticed that doing a lot of these lives, I need to start taking care of my voice. It is starting to crack a bit. I'm talking so much. Alright, I'm going to drop, this is a bigger area, I'm going to drop some more purple in here. And a bit darker. All right. Oh my god, I almost put my brush in my tea. Okay, I need to put that further away. Okay. So now I'm going to grab the darker turquoise and I'm going to start with the other areas of the dragon. Yeah, I really need to do that. Yeah. And I don't mind talking a lot, although I also feel like it's a challenge. It's like multitasking. Focus on what I need to paint and talking at the same time and trying not to make errors. So now I'm going to start up here again. And I need to stay within those lines, but at that part it's difficult. I actually should start with a lighter wash. All right, my voice really is starting to tickle a bit. All right, I want to start with a lighter wash because then I can drop in some pigments later. I do like to work from light to dark, and that way there can be a color variation. Oh, I accidentally scooched it too high up. This is the site, my watercolor hub. So people can get on my exclusive watercolor mail list, which is all about learning to paint with watercolor with a lot of resources. There are also a lot of tutorials. You can find there free tutorials. So if you want to learn to paint with watercolor, that's a really nice place to go. Now I moved it to a wrong side again. I'm so sorry. Let me put it on the paper for a bit. So now I added those lighter washes and now I'm dropping in some darker. So some more pigment. Yeah, so once you subscribe to my watercolor mailing list, you immediately get my guide, well, my materials list, and I'm working on a guide with specific products so that you can really, you really know which products you could get without having to think about it. And then also you get the, of course, the outlines. I do a lot of tutorials on YouTube. There are so many free tutorials there, and I made outlines of the sketches of the compositions, and I made an ebook where they are all gathered together, and you can get a download of that as well right away. And I'm working on some other free resources. Hello Magdalena, goedenavond. How are you? Is it okay if I speak English to you? I do like my stream. I do like to be able to reach an international crowd. So I moved on to the next parts of the dragons here, and I really need to try and focus and use a light wash. And sometimes I put too much pigment on my brush, so I need to add a little water. Oh, that's cool. That's really nice. And do you also like to paint? Thank you so much. And thank you so much for joining me. So I need need to hurry up a bit and add some darker in here before that paint dries. Digital abstract expressionist. That's interesting. And with digital, you mean like you work in Photoshop, or do you also use something like Procreate? Oh, thank you so much, Sheree. Thank you. I really hope you're going to enjoy it. That's so kind. Thank you so much. Yeah, and it's all work in progress, but I'm really excited about these watercolor tutorials. And I have a lot of really great ideas. Now I only need to find the time. All right, 4 main steps in your creative process. Okay, now I'm really curious. All right, I need to pay attention to where my pencil lines are. There's one of these here. Just painting over the face. Oh, that sounds really interesting, Magdalena. Do you have creations on your TikTok page? Because then I will look at it after the stream. I'm really curious. Yeah, I will look at it. Great. I really love to see. Yeah, so I'm doing something completely different. But I do have a digitization element in my process, because I do scan these in and then remove the backgrounds and then, you know, move them around in creating a composition in Photoshop. All right, so now I'm wondering, I added this fan club and I see that you are a member of it right now. Are you able to use the emoticons? I added a few in there and I was wondering if you were then able to use those. Wait, I am making the same mistake again. Now I need to focus. So what I teach and what I'm not doing myself right now, I need to work from light to dark. All right, and now I'm painting over the spike. All right, so you can see that painting and talking can be quite challenging. Trying to mix it around a bit. All right. What do you mean with you have been watching it? Oh, really nice. Thank you. Thank you. That's so nice. Yeah, I'm happy that you like it. Yeah, I am a bit out of my comfort zone right now because I've never painted dragons before. And There's this person I know who's getting married really soon, and he's into D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, and his fiance is too. So I thought it would be nice to create a card for them. Oh, there's a hair on here. You really see me struggling at the moment. You see all the stuff that usually happens when no one's watching, like the small irritations. All right, I got it. All right. Oh, you're swiping on Tinder. That's interesting. So, I am not on the apps currently. I gave up. And Sheree, of course you can. I think I could turn this into a tutorial as well. That would be an awesome idea. Everyone that can draw and paint a dragon. Oh, a girlfriend. Yeah, I don't know if those are easier to find on Tinder than men. Or if it's the same vibe, I don't know. And it's not like I wouldn't mind dating, but I don't know. I wasn't really happy with the app. You know, then you match with someone and you start talking and the subject changes very soon. Yes, I am great. I like it that you like it, Sheree. We're going to do that. So right now, because I have been struggling, this part is a bit too wet. And I'm afraid that if I'm going to put the dark highlight in here, it's going to spread out. So I'm going to leave that alone and then wait for tomorrow. I'm going to let it dry overnight. And in the meanwhile, I'm really happy with how the webbing is drying up. I really love the color effects. So I am adding a bit of dark around here, and I can add a bit around here, but I'm going to leave this alone. Yeah, there are a lot of scammers out there. I hope to meet someone in the wild. I don't know. Maybe someone also into painting and creative stuff. I need to go to. Oh, that's I always like that story. My mother and stepfather, they have met at a painting class. All right, I think I'm going to create make this pointy bit of the tail. I'm going to make it purple. So I'm starting with light. And then I'm going to drop in some dark. Okay. So a question. I have this dragon from above, and because of the positioning, you see it's behind the back legs. My English is going away as well. And I've got one front leg because like the other one is in front of the dragon. I'm afraid that if I'm going to put it up there, it's going to look weird. Is this dragon right now with the three legs, is this looking strange or does this work? I would love to hear your thoughts on that. I think I'm going to make those spikes purple as well. Oh, thank you, Sheree. That's what I do like about these live streams. I like a lot of things about these live streams, but it's really nice to get instant feedback and have someone thinking with me. Now I'm wondering if purple was a good idea. I don't want to add any pink into this dragon. And I do love the simple color combo. So I'm going to just add a bit of dark in here and then just leave it for now. Maybe later on I can add some metallic on there. So for now, this dragon needs to dry. And I'm going to let it dry overnight. So tomorrow I can add details. So I'm going to switch back to the other dragon. I'm going to write a different post-it tomorrow, I think. Let me see. So I think this has dried enough for me to put some metallic paint on there. I really need to leave the eyes alone. I need it to dry overnight. And I really am very curious to see how it looks like when those eyes are finished. But for now, I'm going to focus on the metallic. And my brain is working overtime right now to figure out how I'm going to do this. I really like the thought of adding a gold or a bronze. And of course, the logic thing would be to make these things use some bronze or gold on there. But somehow I would also like it if there's some on there. Thank you, Magdalena. I'm really happy that you like it. So let me grab my metallic palette. Like if I put the colors here, I also have other colors as well, but I think I would really like it if I could put some gold in there. And maybe some bronze. Thank you. Dankjewel. So normally I do take my time to look at the colors and the painting before I make up my mind. And I really am aware that this is a live stream and that people are watching. I'm going to quickly grab some clean water, and then I'm just going to make a decision. Let me just start with the gold and then just take it from there. So I am grabbing my smaller brush. Where did it go? This one, a size 1 round brush. And I'm going to use, well, you can't see it right now, but I'm going to use this gold over here. So I actually already have this palette for almost 4 years now. And I'm just now getting to the point that I might need to get refills for these. I do believe you can just buy them per piece. So that is really awesome. I really do love metallic paint so much. Yeah, they are so nice. It's so beautiful. All right, I am going to add a bit of gold to those, yeah, what is it? Like light brown colored areas. So I am painting over the lines but not entirely covering them. And I'm going to do small lines over here as well. I can't believe that I actually created this dragon. I really love it. But as I said, I cannot wait to see it with the eyes finished. That is going to make a huge difference. Oh, thank you so much. That is so nice. They are so sweet. Making my day. Yeah, so I did the gold and now again I'm stuck. I'm like wondering, am I going to paint metallic over these lines or is it too much? And if so, I could do like a reddish pink color, which is the same color, or again, is it too much? I would love to add bronze somewhere, maybe on a few places on the scales. And then I'm wondering if there needs to be something on those spikes. So I like to add metallic, but I don't want to go all overboard. So this is the creative process in my mind. Working overload. And sometimes you're just going to do it. But it's like not that if it's not going to work out that I can press Ctrl Z or what is it, Command Z. Then this is it. Oh, wait. Before I see that I'm already doing this stream for an hour right now. So I am slowly going to end it. And then I will be back tomorrow. So maybe that's a good thing because I still haven't figured out what I want with the metallic. Yeah. So that means that I am going to end the stream and I will be back here tomorrow. And we will be putting details on this dragon. And we will be finishing off this dragon. Yeah, so I'm going to post about it. And thank you so much, Magdalena. I am definitely going to look at your account. Thank you so much for joining. And Sheree, also, thank you very much. I hope to see you again tomorrow as well. And everyone else watching, yeah, bye for now and hope to see you here again tomorrow. Have a lovely rest of your day or evening. All right. Yeah, bye for now.